Maybe did you go to the Lincoln
No,
dinner?
no.
Yep.
The
Maybe
last
we
one?
mentioned-
You knew it
Yeah.
was the first, it was-
Did you want to say something?
Yeah, thank you.
It was a real-
I'll do it on.
Bob, you're recording again, just that.
Oh, okay.
Recording.
Oh, I've got 7 o'clock on my watch. Okay. I'd like to call to order the Groveland Township regular meeting for June 13th. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Hey, Janelle, do you want to take roll call?
I sure do.
Okay. I like the enthusiasm. Yes, I'm here.
Paula. Say yes.
Yes. Yes.
Zach,
Here.
Bill,
Here.
Christopher,
Here.
and Lizarelli.
She's excused. Okay, first on the agenda is approval of tonight's agenda. If you have the original agenda, it's been corrected on the replacement one. You've got the item A was eliminated because the Eagle, the replacement for the DEQ, found they did have the document that they were asking us to sign again anyway.
Oh, good.
So that's why it's removed. Other than that, I have no other changes to the agenda unless anybody else does.
I'd like to add an item,
Mhm.
J, the MTA dues. They came in the mail late this afternoon, so
Okay.
we could take care of those tonight.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it would be J, MTA.
Yep, okay. And under presentations, we're going to add Elaine Cole, who's running for county commissioner. So she's here today. Okay, everybody agree to those changes or any others?
I'll motion we accept the agenda as presented with the addition of J, MTA dues and Eileen Cowell
Oh,
under
I said Elaine.
presentation.
Thank you. Okay, next item is agenda is the approval
I'll
of,
second that.
oh, I'm sorry. I'm jumping ahead, yes.
That's
I'm
fine.
sorry.
Did you have caffeine today?
3 cups before I left for the county, yes. It's a tough afternoon. So seconded by Teresa. Are there any other questions or comments from the board? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, thank you, Teresa. Okay, next item is approval of the minutes from the May 9th meeting. I had no changes on it. Does anybody else have anything? Okay, if not, we need a motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from the May 9th meeting.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
By Jim, okay, any other questions or comments from the board? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, okay. They're
Was
approved.
that for the fire?
For the township.
There's township minutes.
Okay.
Okay, now we have to do one for the township fire board meeting on May the 9th as well. Make a motion on that. I had nothing on it.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes from the May 9th fire board meeting.
I'll second it.
Okay, any other questions or comments from the board? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, they're approved. Thank you. Okay, and we'll move to financials. First item is budget amendments. Patty?
We don't have any at this time. I guess we're still fairly new in our budget. So do you want me to do the accounts payables?
Okay,
The accounts payables, we had $304,143.75 for the month in 101. And 701 was $7,501.83 for a total of $311,645.58. That was for township. In fire 206, it was a total of $26,155.99. We did.
So I will comment that there's a check there for $250,000 that I had asked Patty to write to move money from our regular checking account that earns no interest and send it down to an interest-bearing account at Oakland County LGIP. So that's $250,000 of that.
Correct.
Yeah, that's not like a regular expense.
No,
It's
it's
just
not.
getting moved from
It's
one
just
place
to another.
for investment purposes.
Correct.
We'll kind of beat you, guys.
Yeah.
That's
That's
it.
it.
Anybody else?
Any questions or comments on the accounts payable? Okay.
I'll motion to accept the accounts payables as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, Janelle, would you take a roll call?
Palma,
Yes.
Bat,
Yes.
Bills,
Yes.
Christopher.
Okay. Financial reports for general fire and building, we kind of covered those, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're all set there. Investment reports, Teresa? Here's 2 piles.
So the investment report is here, but it is not completely up to date. Oakland County has not sent their financial information for the month of May because they switched over all their software during the last 2 months. So everything at Oakland County is behind. They are upgrading or something. And so they couldn't send me what interest we earned on our public funds that are down there. So I just transferred over the public funds from April into May. So as you'll see that the public funds line item looks exactly the
Mhm.
same.
That would just be a little bit larger for the month.
Yeah, so, Oakland County's interest, we probably have earned maybe $6,000 or $8,000 more in interest total, but it's not posted in here. It will be caught up. They've assured me. They said if I didn't have it by this morning, that I'd have it probably by the end of the week. So I'll get it all caught up for next week, but everything else is,
But the number's still great on the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
So if anything, it's just a little better.
Yep.
Okay.
Hi, Barry. Did anybody, I want to go back one to the financial reports,
okay.
revenue and expenditures. Did
Oh.
anybody have any? Go
I'm
ahead.
Sorry, no, go ahead.
No,
Were there any
go ahead.
comments on it?
Any comments or you need a motion to accept those?
Oh, Bob's Caffeine again.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
I can motion to accept the
I thought-
revenue and expense report.
As submitted.
I
I thought we did that.
Did we do that?
We did
Oh, the
the,
accounts
Oh,
payable?
the accounts
Accounts
payable,
payable.
but not the revenue.
All right.
Okay, that's fine.
so I motion to accept the financial reports, the revenue and expense report as presented.
Is there a second to
I
that?
did that right.
I will second it.
Okay, and we're not actually approving the money, we're just the
Yeah,
report. so,
Right, just the report.
All in favor, I'll say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, thank you, Patty. I clearly can't have 3.5 cups of coffee. Okay, the next item on the agenda is presentation. So at that, I'd like to introduce Eileen Cowell. If you haven't spoken, I've known her for many years. Her and her husband, he used to be the supervisor and then he was state rep, and you've been in the state legislation and he's been a senator, and now you're running for county commission, right? So
Correct.
the floor is yours. Yeah,
You're fine, yeah.
You're covered.
Am I good? Okay, right, yes. I'm running for the newly drawn 7th County Commission District, which is the northern 3 precincts of Highland Township, the northern 3 precincts of White Lake Township, then it goes up into Rose, Holly, Springfield, Groveland, Brandon, and Ortonville, and the village of Holly as well. So, oh, and I always forget, there's a little part of Fenton that comes in Oakland County, so the part of Fenton that lies in Oakland County. So I've been back on the Board of Commissioners since 2015, with term limits and everything. And I really do enjoy county government. You're closer to your home, you're closer to the people that you serve. And I enjoy very much being a liaison between the local units of government that I represent. And, helping you get your issues resolved or to get things accomplished at the county level. So I consider that a very important part of being a county commissioner, as well as, working with your constituents, listening to your constituents and helping them solve problems too. As a matter of fact, when I was in the state house, I found that, passing bills is one thing, but it's really great when you can help somebody solve a problem. So that's going to be my attitude, and I look forward to working with you in 2023.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for coming. Anybody have a question, Riley? Well, Tell Mike I said hi. Okay.
He's home watching a new puppy.
Oh, okay.
I got her going door to door.
Okay.
A little bonus.
Be careful what you do with them.
Okay, under item 8, public hearings, we have nothing for public hearings tonight. There is no unfinished business for tonight. Under new business, the first thing is to discuss the poverty exemption resolution. Teresa, did you want to cover that?
You want me to?
Yeah, because you did a good job today when we were.
I
Well,
retyped it.
thank
It's
you.
all new.
So we had this resolution that was already passed last year. And this morning we got a phone call from our assessor, Leanne Boucher, and she stated that ARM, ARAM, just assessing statewide level assessment. They came into Oakland County, and of their 32 different places that they do, all the jurisdictions in Oakland County, 29 of them did not pass all of their requirements for their poverty or hardship exemption, because there was a particular sentence in the resolution that needed to be changed. So she called us this morning. We went over the change, and basically it just stated that we used to have a line item that said if a resident owned any more than just their one parcel that they lived at, if they owned any other parcel, that would automatically deny them the poverty exemption. However, evidently the state said that you can't do that. And so they said that we needed to take that out. All these 29 municipalities had to take that out and make that additional parcel that a landowner might own into something that goes into the assets. And then they wondered if we wanted to raise the limit of our assets that they were allowed to have. So it was currently 50,000, and we discussed it with Leanne Boucher, and we decided to leave it at 50,000. It really doesn't change anything, but what it does is it changes the wording of the resolution. And so we need to, make a motion and adopt this new resolution, which then will be in compliance with the state's standards. And then there's one line item change in the actual application that states, under assets, you're allowed to have up to $50,000 in assets. But if you exceed that, then you're going to get denied the poverty exemption, because the poverty exemption is really there for people who are struggling to make ends meet, and then they get their taxes here exempted. But if they have a second piece of property or a total set, in this case now, they're allowed a second piece of property as long as their assets don't exceed $50,000. So,
And I think she said, 28 or 9 other municipalities.
yes,
are in the
29
exact
other
same
municipalities have
situation.
this exact same problem, and they were trying to get this all taken care of. And we were very glad that she called us today, because, in the years past, this was always something that was acceptable. And so evidently, if they had that many people or that many municipalities with the same error, they are scrambling to get it all corrected. So we went ahead and told her, yes, go ahead and change that. We'll vote on it tonight at the meeting. And then we need to go ahead and approve the application, the new application with the one line item change that puts any additional parcels into the category called assets with a cap of $50,000 limit in order to still qualify for a poverty exemption in Groveland Township. So I hope I've explained that well enough.
Fine.
What questions do you have?
For everybody in this room, it's transparent.
Okay, so I will make a motion that we accept, or that we adopt resolution 2022-010, adopting a policy relative to the review and granting of poverty exemptions by Groveland Township's Board of Review for 2022.
Is there a second?
Support.
Okay, any questions or comments from the board? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay.
And
Nicely
then
done, thank you.
that motion also approves this, is that
That's it,
correct?
yeah.
It approves the resolution. So we-
Which is this stock.
Well, this is the application, right? So the review and granting adopting a policy. Okay, as long as it covers
We should
both
be all set.
documents, then we're good.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay. Next is to discuss the assessing services. Patty, we got a letter from the assessor.
Yes, we
County
did.
changing the rate a little bit.
Yes,
Looks like
the
4% increase.
Yes, that was all that was on there. So,
I'm sure now that everybody is in full swing of inflation, this will be the first of many contracts that come along that will have increased rates on it, but it's only 4%. So I
it's,
think
yeah,
that's
by a 4% increase, so. Does anybody, real property, for 2022, 2023, real property will be assessed at $15 and personal property rate will be $13.72. Anybody have any questions?
Make,
Okay.
make the motion.
I'll motion that we approve the renewal of the contract for assessing services with Oakland County for cost per parcel to be a 4% increase. And for the contract year, $15 for real property and personal property, $13.72.
Okay, is there a second to the motion?
for the period of July 1st, 2022.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
2022 to 2023, yes.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
Okay, any questions or comments from the board? No, Janelle, take a roll call.
Pat,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes,
Christopher,
Yes.
Alma,
Yes. The next item is discuss the Decker Agency Insurance Renewal. Patty, I think that's from our
I
meeting.
was
right?
gonna let you talk on this one, I
Oh.
guess. Yeah, oh. Well, this is an annual renewal. And
It didn't go up that much. really.
no, it didn't.
This is it right here. Wasn't it, though?
It's right here, right here. This is
The total premium is 42,057, but do we have the reference number that he gave us? 'Cause it didn't go up very much.
I'm looking here, wasn't in.
I didn't see last year's.
Somebody did that stuff here today, whatever.
That's NTA.
Oh, I got it down somewhere. Well, I can go quickly look. If you'd like. You didn't have last year's in here at all? You didn't have it?
I don't have that either.
Did you?
Yeah, it didn't come in my back in
Oh.
the office today.
Oh, do you want to thumb through that quick? I don't see it either. I can,
He
Go
told us when
forward.
we were at the meeting, and it wasn't much, but it's kind of an irrelevant point, actually. It's whatever the insurance is, it is.
While you're looking for that,
let me go.
what exactly does this insurance cover?
The township and the fire department's liability and the insurance on the equipment stuff.
No, the fires is 24,000, the township's is 17.
17.
My insurance for the year 75,000.
Right, so that's what I'm wondering, what is this insurance? From Decker Agency.
It's a liability, workman's comp, and accident insurance.
Okay,
There's- Yes. I forgot we had the meeting 2 or 3 weeks ago. Cyber liability on it also, which I think. is part of
Cyber
the reason,
liability?
'cause we added that last year, and that added some money.
okay.
It does have the liability for your cars, your vehicles and stuff, though.
Budget 75,000.
I think that's the one for the equipment itself. This is the liability. Sorry, I didn't get back to the 3:45.
I had a busy day of meetings.
Wait for Patty to get back.
Sorry about that. Hold on a second.
So last year, it was 24,626
And this year
for
it's
fire.
24,551.
Yes, and this year it's 24,451.
451, I'm sorry.
And
16,204 went to 17,606
for
for the
the,
township.
yes.
And I think that was mostly the cyber stuff. that was
Yes,
added.
I was gonna say, there was cybersecurity all included in here. I know Teresa was asking, yeah. And,
So do we want,
Just to refresh my memory.
yeah.
do you want to make a motion to approve the
Yeah.
Decker insurance renewal?
So I'll motion that we approve the Decker insurance renewal at a cost of $17,606 for the township, $24,451 for the fire department. From, the renewal will be from June 1st, 2022 to June 1st of 2023.
Is there a second?
I will second.
Kevin?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Copy of that.
Yes. Yes. We'll get you, can I send it over to you tomorrow morning? Bob has to sign. I've got other, well, okay. I've got to
Bob,
print
sign.
them.
All right.
This isn't what he has to sign. I'll have to print the pages.
Okay.
Okay, so that was my motion.
And Jim seconded.
Jim
it.
second.
Okay.
Are there any other questions or comments from the board? Janelle, if you would take a roll call. on it.
Bill,
Yes.
Christopher,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Back,
Yes.
Okay, the next item on the agenda, I think we should table that one for the patching on the parking lot. I don't think JD's apparently his proposal didn't get in while I was on this afternoon.
He was supposed to bring one in and
We got the
I'm
allied
not sure
one.
where it went, but it did not come in.
So I would like to
So-
suggest we table that till next month.
So we're not going to talk about the allied one either? Or is
No,
that-
let's wait till we have them
that's-
both. We'll do them
Okay.
together, okay?
All right. Okay.
Okay, next item is discuss Angela Morgan's step increase.
Angela Grogan, she is due for her third step increase of $500. So I think she's been doing a great job.
She's amazing.
We ask her to do a lot of things that are like, I'm sorry to ask you to do this, like make copies and could you go find this? And she's done a great job. She's our chair order. I guess she doesn't put them together.
No,
I didn't ask
Bob's
her-
got to do that tomorrow.
I didn't ask her that today. Do you think you could put those together?
No, do it tomorrow.
So I motion that we approve Angela Grogan's third step increase of $500 to begin on July 2nd pay.
I'll second that.
Okay, are there any questions or comments from the board?
I think she does a great job.
She does do a
Okay.
good job. She's our main phone answerer and
Janelle, can you take a roll call on that?
Christopher,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Back,
yes,
Bill.
Yes.
Okay, the next one is probably the biggest thing we got to do tonight is the bedrock mining and reclamation agreement, of which you probably got a voluminous amount of information, because when I sent this over to Barry, he said, geez, it's a lot to read. And I said, and I know I've been through it 3 times. So I'll make this simple for you though. If you look at the 2 contracts, because in the attachments we sent from Will and the one I forwarded to Barry and he sent to Eric, his attorney, it is the original contract with the changes made in red. There's a lot of them, but if you look at them, most of the changes are minor text changes, like instead of sand and gravel, it just says soils materials removed. So there's very little change in that. The escalator factors are all the same. What this does is preserve the revenue stream we get off of the old mining property out to 2035 with the same terms and conditions we have now, with two distinct differences. We had discussed earlier, and Barry had asked if he could get a running tab every year, excuse me, of the amount of credits he's accrued from paying rent that would go towards his royalties. And we gave him one a couple of months ago. You and I did that.
Yep.
And he's just asked that once a year we include that with him, and that's easy to do. And let's see. Oh, and we took out the gravel, which was originally in this contract at $6,000 a mile, because it hasn't been that for decades. I think it's about $36,000 a mile right now from the road commission. So we couldn't use our gravel for it because it's not the right mix of stuff for it anyway. So we only did that for a year or two and it became non-effective. But what we're doing to kind of offset that is, when we put the industrial park online, we have to build a road from the fire station that's going there up to Shields Road for access to the ORV park. And Barry is going to put that in as a county spec gravel road. And that's about 250 to 300 grand, you told me, to put that in. So that's included in here. That's the real extent of the changes, that it adds 13 years from what they're doing now out for the contract to 2035. It gets rid of the language that we weren't using anyway on the gravel. It adds in some minor text that had been amended along the way on his ability to use that option that Stoller Rock had asked for in lieu of the original bond. So that's incorporated in here. And it puts in the Hall Road that's going to go in on what was a Warden Road. And we're very, very close with the help of Senator Danaskis to having the final approval from consumers. It was like an epiphany. Well, they kept on saying, no, thank you for the $1,000 for not doing anything with it. When we asked for the easement, he made a couple of calls to the vice president. He knows that consumers. And guess what? I got an email message that said, I think we're pretty close to getting it done for you. We should have it all done in a week or two, and I'll send you an email. And the only thing left to do is, I don't know, Barry, if you've had a chance to talk to Dave Ordine, but they asked me last Thursday if they could get a copy of those engineering drawings he made for the road without the yellow highlights on it.
Because I sent them to you, but they got yellow highlights.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll call.
So if we can get those to them, that's the last thing they were looking for, and we should have the approval. And Senator Danaskis is going up to Lansing or calling consumers, I think tomorrow or Wednesday. And he said, I'll touch bases with the VP that I know. And I said, if she needs something else, let me know. But all my correspondence is, it looks like we're ready to go on that. So as soon as we get that easement back, then we have to do one for you, the township, and Tri-City, which have all agreed to do it. And we'll finally be able in a position to do the grading and put the road in for it. So that's what all of this is, and all those highlights. It's a lot of very minor text changes, but that's the difference. It extends it out to 2035. It adds the gravel haul road going in by Bedrock up to Shields Road, so we'll have the access we need. And it eliminates the old language that we weren't using anyway for the gravel. And it also incorporates a few minor changes we have made along the years in the area of using the alternative to buying a bond, using the extra fee for the gravel as an alternative to that. And that was an agreement we originally wrote for Steve Stollerock. Then he never used it. Barry's really the only one that's utilized it, and it's worked out well for the township as well. So are there any questions on this?
And the garbage is still free.
And the garbage at the dumpster site for our residents is still free, and he still mulches the wood at the chopper that you got there for the mulch piles. So we still get those services
Excellent.
as well. And they're pretty popular too.
So this goes through the very end, through like December 31st of.
Yeah, there's a blank on there, but I would say
2035.
we fill it in that it's as
Yeah.
of today to December of 35.
That's what I was gonna ask.
This is to make sure we still have that
Yes,
revenue
that you add in your
coming in
motion.
after I'm gone, so that the township's got the money to run on.
And you should probably say that if you sell off property, that's
We,
separately.
yeah, we could, and we've been doing that all along, and that was actually in here. That's thank you. That's another point that
That's a big-
what was in the original one, and it is, just like we use the property to do the Mavis building, and we're gonna use it to do the new fire MSP detachment building. And we're talking to a couple of people now for tenants in the ORV park. So all of that still chunks on. It's a very flexible agreement that seems to work well for him and well for us. And the only thing we've been doing is asking people when they're looking at potential lots in the new development to try and stay close to the fire station and the Mavis building, because we want to develop from that side going out. And we don't want to do the frontage on Grange Hall or
That's all
I-75
mine
to the,
too.
yeah, we don't want to have to take the berm down and do the frontage on Grange Hall and I-75 to the end, because I think that maximizes our value in that property later on. I'm sorry, I'm so hoarse tonight. But that's what's in here. If you have any questions, I'll try and answer them for you, but I've read this 3 times. It's great if you can't sleep at night. If not,
Do you want
I'll
to,
make a motion that we approve the extension contract for Bedrock Mining and Reclamation, subject to the changes that are included in the final revised draft which has been agreed to both by our attorney and Barry and his attorney. Eric saw this, right? Because I remember you talked to him on the phone. Also, as submitted,
effective as of?
effective, well, it'll be today,
That's what I was.
June 13th through December of 2035. Yeah, 31st. Is there a second to that?
I'll second it.
Any questions or comments?
I have a question, but I'm not sure that it is really matters, but this is assuming, this is a contract between Groveland Township and Bedrock.
Mhm.
So if Barry decides to sell Bedrock, and he's no longer owner, is this null and void? I mean, like, would we just start over again? Not that Barry's gonna
Right.
sell it, but this is,
That's a good question, and I guess I hadn't contemplated, because most of the option is ours to sell the property if we want to along the way,
okay,
and his is restored. The kind of the thing that keeps everything in balance is for us, as he works on this, the property gets cleaned up to the place we need it. And as he's working on this, all of those rent payments end up getting converted, because he has to take material out towards credits he has on the south side of the road, which I think's got about 4 or 5 million tons of sand in it yet.
Yeah.
So,
And well, you know, we're paid ahead. And I think
yeah, you got about 1.25 million in credits right now.
Yeah.
So
and I.
there's no advantage to him to leave before he gets all that material out. If that's what you're
Okay.
asking. That's kind of why the whole thing works, I think, really.
Yeah. And the property, as we keep finding out, just keeps going
Yes.
crazy. It's up to 150,000 an
Yeah.
acre.
okay,
And I own on the north side of it, you know,
Yep.
parallel the whole thing. And then the township. Yeah, like we always said, if somebody came along and wanted $100 million to buy the property, whatever, then part of our agreement is to
Let us sell it.
move to another
Part of the property and let us sell it, yeah.
okay.
So,
And he's been very good about it. The whole thing's worked really perfectly from the day we started it, I think.
Well, I think it's a great agreement. I just wondered that only because sometimes these contracts, they make great sense to the people who are poring over them day after day, right? But the regular layperson out here in the township might say, you know, so, yeah, that was my only question.
Okay.
But it really, like I said, it wasn't really like question about the technicality of all this.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose Barry could sell Bedrock or I-75 aggregates, whatever you want.
But it doesn't sound like it would be a very lucrative thing for you to do, so, you know,
well, no, we got too many different things.
yeah.
Is wood mulching operation, the credit on the sand
Yeah.
across the
Yeah.
street and the development of the property kind of, I mean, we've actually intertwined so much of this now because it's worked so well for us. You know, some people I know in the past, they said, why do we do these deals with Bedrock? Because Barry's there's 2 reasons. He recognizes the value in what we're trying to do out here. and he wants to be part of it, okay? And the other reason is he's never trying to shortchange us on anything. He always pays fair prices, very fair prices for what he does with us. So it's worked together for us on everything we've done. And in the case of the development where we had sold him the 43 acres that's north of us, it was originally part of this property before the ORV park was ever even discussed. It now puts him in a position to be able to do the development on that in concert with what we're doing here. So when we have that session to talk about how we do land leases and all that, I have invited him to join us in the meeting because we don't want to find out that one of us is bidding somehow and messing the other one up. We don't want to be fighting ourselves on the same clients in there. So it's worked very well for
It's
everybody.
actually better, I've said for the township to sell their pieces first.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna be leased, long-term leases or whatever it is. And then it'll make mine worth more like that.
And that's kind of why we're leaving the frontage on 75 and Grange Hall to the end, because that's where the retail stuff is likely to be. And that will be worth much more when the rest of that property behind it's developed. So it just works very well for everybody.
Well, thank you. This is a great contract.
Thank you. So I made the motion.
You made a motion? Jim
You seconded it? Okay, Janelle, would you take a roll call vote?
DePalma,
Yes.
Pat,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Christopher.
Yes.
Barry, got any comments or questions?
No, I just wanna say thank you.
Thank
We've been
you.
working
Barry.
together for 20 years and
That's the other thing. Barry and I usually get all this stuff roughed out between him and I in my office and kind of do it in layman's language. Then I call Will and he calls Eric and they figure out how to put it into this. That's how I have.
pretty simple. I mean, so, and like I said, we look out for the township. We just-
Yes.
I'm looking for long-term.
Yep.
Making that, not our legacy, but something really nice. For
Yes.
us, that could have sold it long time,
Mhm.
could have sold it a long time ago. So I do appreciate you guys trusting me
Yep.
and the whole lot.
Been very good and we appreciate your
Yes, we do.
openness and fairness in the way you deal with us.
Yes.
Thank you, Barry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I gotta go get my horses.
Okay.
Oh, no.
See you guys later. Say bye.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Okay, discuss payroll services. Patty,
So,
this is one that came up. for you.
Yes, last week, I received an email. We right now contract our payroll services with Dominion. Well, Dominion is no longer gonna continue doing payroll. So I called around, I talked, we have, our neighboring township they use Dominion too, and the clerk there reached out to me and I'm like, well, I just saw it. So he had talked to the people about BSNA because they have it, but it's pretty lengthy to do it. We'd have to do a lot more, send in our own payroll taxes and all of that. So I reached out to our auditor and asked his opinion. And he suggested very strongly we go with the company Invasive. So I've reached out to them and wasn't it invasive? Yeah.
Sounds like a funny name for a company. Invasive.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Okay.
No, it's all right. Wasn't that it? Oh, I want to say, yeah. Envision, maybe? Envision.
Envision.
Sorry, it was close. I was in these. Envision, okay. And so anyway, he has contacted me and he and I talked on the phone and he wants to come out and talk with Janelle and I one day next week. So I don't have anything to really propose. However, I'm thinking this probably isn't going to take place till around October. He and I had talked.
The switch over?
Yes, they're not going to drop us like hot potatoes like it sounded when ADP was going to take over all their business. And I spoke with ADP too, but they do a lot of,
They're a big company.
yeah.
They're a really big payroll operation.
and they don't do fund accounting type stuff the way the township's government does. So Ken, I trust Ken. I think he would have given us, not let us wrong. But as soon as I get more information, I'll bring that back to the board too.
Okay, so you really want to like table that for next?
Yes,
So we have time.
envision, yes, not like it sounded when, you know,
Sound like
well, the
July.
last payroll we're gonna do, it read was July 30th. And I'm like, well, what, and they felt they gave us a lot of lead time. But they're not, my understanding is that they're not dropping us like that quick, so we can wait and do it in October, the changeover.
Well, you're gonna meet with the dude sometime next week.
Yeah.
And then,
Yep,
We'll discuss it
Yeah.
in July.
yes.
yeah. we can-
I know the other neighboring, I understand, I heard they're going to change over in January at the beginning of the year, but
Oh, okay.
I'm good with October, and I talked
Okay.
about it, so.
Excuse me.
So,
Okay,
that's a table.
next item on the agenda is discuss the building permit fees, and I think this was brought to us by Danielle originally, right? So you want to
Yes.
cover that, Patty? These
Yes,
are
I think
changes in
I've
the
got some
code.
on this one. So this came to the board one other time, but there were questions about who is going to do the determining on the group building code, like the square foot construction or the, what is this? The construction class name. Who is going to
Oh, if it's fire resistant.
decide that? Yeah, yes. So Danielle did some work on this, and my understanding is the building inspector does this decision-making. We can follow these fees, and then he'll apply what needs to be applied and figure up the
So
amount.
Jason will give her the. data.
Jason will, yes, Jason will give her the data to put together.
And this is what they
and-
use in Brandon and everywhere
Yes.
else anyway.
Yes,
So I think it was good that Danielle took the
Yes.
opportunity to find out
yes.
we were kind of falling behind.
Yeah,
that
and we were
generate
quite
some
a
extra
bit
funds.
behind, yeah, so this will be in Jason's hands to do the figuring, give it to Danielle, and then she'll do her thing and put it in the building program and send the bill and collect. So,
Is that your motion to accept this?
So, well, I have a question.
mm,
So if Jason uses this document to determine the fees,
yes,
do those fees have to be voted on by us before they get applied to anybody? If they're
No.
going to be different than what we currently do?
no, we can adopt this over what our current
Okay,
procedure is, and
And actually, this is the standard international
Yes.
building code way of doing it,
yes,
okay,
which generally speaking, all of our building codes are out of that international building.
I
code.
didn't know if we just needed, if we're voting on, let's let them come up with the new amounts and we don't, or is this coming back to us again after he comes up with some new amounts?
No, no.
And then-
No,
it
this
would be
is all-
this, the
yes.
code has.
because he's gonna look through here and see everything they have and say, oh, okay, well, this is it, and do the multiplying and use the multiplier, and he'll add the amount. So, let's see, I guess my motion is that we adopt the building valuation data from February 2021 by the International Code Council to replace the current fees for construction of buildings in the township of Groveland.
Okay, is there a second
I will second it.
by Jim? Any questions or comments from the board? Janelle, would you take a roll call on that? Since it is going
Yeah.
to change it down.
Yes,
Bill,
Yes,
Christopher,
Yes.
Capella,
Yes. Okay, next item is to discuss the benches for the
Benches,
township.
yeah.
And you have a couple of documents that, I think Angela got these for us, did she?
she did have some of them. Gina sent a couple.
Couple, yeah.
Um,
If you've noticed, the two benches we have out front have finally kind of split all the way along the vinyl cladding that's on them. And so they're pretty tacky looking. We're gonna have to have them pulled out and something different put in. I'll be honest, this slabbed wood one looks really nice and rustic. I just don't know how they hold up to the weather over time. And the other one looks to me like it's Trex wood, which kind of is forever stuff.
So my opinion, everyone, is the one that's a slab wood is often referred to as a live edge piece of wood. And it might look good for 3/4 of a year,
And then it'll
but it's
get,
gonna be susceptible. With the salt that's out there.
yeah, it gets
the
plenty there.
elements,
I agree.
It wouldn't be my recommendation. It would be something synthetic. given this environment.
So do we want to go with something like the second set here that's the, looks like Trex on some sort of composite legs?
The poly products.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The,
Park warehouse.
yeah.
Recycled plastic is what it's called on their literature.
I'm looking at something that says Monarch spelled oddly. 417 to
Oh, yeah.
$914.
Mhm.
That
Some
was
I don't get
remote
that name.
institution.
Which one is that, Jim? Or, yep, okay, I do have that
Park
one.
warehouse.
Park warehouse.
But you know, this kind, correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin, those two that are out there are sunk in concrete, aren't they? The posts on them? I'm pretty sure they're buried in concrete.
So can we anchor these, Kevin? the same
These
way?
look like
Might
they,
have to rip what's out there out before new.
yeah, what I'm saying is I think this one actually has to have a little slab poured under it.
You could just put, correct me if I'm wrong, you could put one piece under each set of layer. Yeah, like a post.
Oh, okay.
And anchor it that way?
I would just do like a short section, go down. That way,
Yeah, but you need something other than just this
I think we're,
to put them in.
well, I think we're looking to make sure they don't sprout legs.
No.
Right.
Mhm.
or get heaved in the winter time.
Exactly.
And the only reason I say that is because the one that's in out there, I'm sure is sunk in two posts are sunk in concrete. So they got to be pulled out. This is going to have to take something buried to
Might look
anchor.
better before the slab.
Yeah. And it looks to me like the legs are actually meant to be like they're lag bolted, you know?
So they don't grow like.
Yeah, yeah, right. I noticed one of our picnic tables has ended up almost in the woods now, back there.
The slab would probably be the easiest way.
Janelle took it out there. Yeah. The picnic table.
Wasn't that the cross-country running team?
Yeah,
I watched her one day. There she went.
well, okay, do we want to
Yeah,
get these and
well-
then we'll make some arrangements to have somebody come and pour some cement and put them in, because it's that
I'd be okay
4 to
with this.
900 is not going to include getting somebody to pour
Right,
cement. put 'em in.
Right, we're gonna have to put in some installation,
You
but
like,
it does say it's impervious to moisture, rot, mold, and insects.
Does it say how long?
6 foot?
6 foot size, yeah. I think that's roughly what's out there, 6 foot.
6 foot size?
So.
Those look nice when they went in, but then they just started, first they got stained really bad. Yeah, and now they just split wide open.
Are those 6 foot? That's what I was wondering.
I'm pretty sure they're 6 foot.
You think so?
So, I'm trying to not make this funny, but there are, I went on their website just now, there's actually like 12 different examples.
Oh,
So depending if Janelle turns them on, if you want to make the decision, or just leave it up to anybody in here. I don't know how particular we all want to be about it. But I'm just letting people know there's a bunch of colors.
Oh, you mean like the Trex could be gray as opposed to black or
Yeah.
something, or brown
And
or
then
whatever.
the setup system is. The legs are a little different, some configurations.
So where's this company out of, Park Warehouse?
I'm not sure.
Thanks, Vic.
Where's it?
I don't know yet.
I'm looking at Park warehouse.
Park Warehouse, well, let's see.
I had a tree.
Because I did actually look at, that Moon Valley one that.
Yeah, Moon
Gina
Valley.
and I had talked about that. I looked at
Oh,
that.
that one I didn't
and-
see. I never got
It
that.
does say, free shipping.
So Moon Valley doesn't have anything like these. They do picnic tables,
Right.
gliders and swings, so.
Isn't Moon Valley usually pine? Any of what I've ever seen
Cedar,
was
I
pine or
think
cedar.
they're all wooden,
Yeah, yeah, the problem is all of that looks good when it goes in,
Yeah.
but it gets aged pretty bad.
sure.
They're on the floor.
They're out of
Florida.
Florida, the Park Warehouse.
So are they made in?
Are they made in
America?
America or made in China? Because, I mean, and that's a serious question, because you never know how long it might take to get them. And I
Come from the
just-
Ukraine.
Can
Well, I
all
just-
new benches
Some
in
of
like
them-
25 years, maybe.
I mean, I think all of these have similar looks to them, right? And we
Yeah.
have an idea what we're looking for.
Yeah, I think so.
Which are made in Michigan,
Park Warehouse,
Poly Products.
Poly Products. Oh,
Yeah,
What's this
I
one?
had one that was made in Michigan, the Poly
What's this
product.
one?
Is this the one that we got from
Poly Products.
MTA? I forget which one was the MTA. one.
Janelle, is that?
Well, this
you
is
on the TV?
interesting.
Janelle, I'm-
Auger anchor kits for the poly product ones are
Did you know
38
Poly
bucks.
Products?
Sorry, I was forgetting.
Yeah,
Yeah, but the poly product one's actually a little bit less.
Well, if it's made in Michigan also.
Made in Michigan
Poly
and,
products.
and they've got auger anchor kits for ground and grass at
Anchor
38
kits,
bucks. So
yeah.
maybe they can be augered down.
Oh, I'm sure the other ones can too.
Yeah, but I mean,
my son-in-law bought an electric post.
no,
You could practice here with it.
that's what they make little postal diggers for, right?
Yeah.
The hand ones.
Then we'll be trying to think Buddy benches.
Recycled plastic outdoor benches.
It's this one, right? here.
Yeah, it's pretty much like the one we were looking at.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
it's the same thing almost. Actually, although the back one's got 4 boards on it,
The
this
third
one's
one
got
over.
3.
What's that third one?
This over here. Oh,
6-foot back park benches. Yeah, something to that effect.
Does anybody have a particular preference for color? Do you want it to be? Fire engine red?
I kind of go for black frame with cedar looking wood, but
That
Yeah.
looks nice.
Yeah, I think that would look nice. So it's
The
pretty
The
much
black
what
legs
we
and the
got,
layer.
what this
panel.
one is.
Cambridge, the 6-foot outdoor bench. That's the one that's this one.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay,
Let's do 2 of those.
all right. So, go ahead, Bob. make the motion.
Okay, we need I make a motion that we approve of purchasing 2 poly products. What was that? Cambridge
Cambridge 6-foot outdoor benches.
6-foot outdoor benches in black with the light colored wood and the necessary auger kits for it. And then we'll have to also include getting somebody to install them for us, whatever that costs.
At a price of $740.
Well, the price
Well, the
here is for
price
the
is
bench
gonna
is
have
$740,
value.
but it's gonna
Yeah.
be more when we
Add the
find out how
kit.
many auger
Right.
kits. I'm guessing you auger all 3 of the legs in, I would think, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Figure out what's be better, the concrete slab.
Yeah, but we can call and find out.
You got to level it around anyway, so put the augers in. So that's-
Let's put a slab in, yeah. Well,
Several bags,
the 2 benches are $740 and 30 cents each, but we'll also have to
Right.
include the cost of
So do you want to
installation.
think the installation would be more than
It can't be but a few.
over
$100 I would think.
2,000? Or if we go up to 2,000?
Well, we got 2 benches.
Shipping, $400 or.
2 benches are gonna be about $1,500.
Right.
So
That'd be 500.
just
for
say,
ins-
why don't we say 20, not to exceed 2,300, that would be.
I was gonna suggest not to exceed 2,500.
Okay, 2,500, okay, that's.
I'm good with
That's
that.
better yet, 2,500. The shipping's free.
Okay.
Okay, is there a second to that?
Getting rid of all these.
sort of, I'll second it, but my recommendation would be, if for whatever reason there's a long lead time, order which everyone thinks is gonna be good. So we don't have to wait.
Okay,
You might get lockjaw. on that bench.
I go out there and sit.
But the one is really split. Okay, is there,
It is pretty
did you
bad.
second it, Jim?
That was-
Okay, any
that's- that's-
questions
You're
or
gonna be
comments from
looking
the
now on
board?
your way out.
And Janelle, if you take a roll call.
Bill,
Yes.
Christopher,
Yes,
Palma,
Yes,
Dash,
Yes,
thank you.
God, I told my agenda.
Okay. Miscellaneous, one item more we
We
have to
have
add,
the
I'm sorry.
MTA.
The MTA dues, you have
So
a
here
copy
you go.
of
Yeah, you got it.
of the MTA fee for this year with the legal defense fund, which I think is a good thing to support. We've used them on issues in the past. The fee this year is $4,907.85. That's probably the best deal we get on anything.
We also,
Since it's a former Groveland resident who's the head of the MTA now. It's kind of good. I make a motion that we approve the MTA dues for this year, $49,0785 with the legal fee in it.
do we want to add on there any of the online learning?
Well, I thought we
I thought we
purchased,
already
we
were.
already did that.
in the previous
We don't
year.
have to do that annually?
Well, I think we're
Why
still
did
in the, I think
I think we're
we're.
still in that
Oh,
one.
okay.
Yeah,
I
we're
think
still in the one we did.
still are at.
Okay,
I
okay,
don't,
that's
I don't
fine.
think we need to do it at this time.
No,
Perfect.
okay, so $49,0785 is the amount. Is the second?
I'll second that.
Okay, any questions or comments from the board? Janelle, if you take a roll call on it?
Christopher,
Yes.
Paloma,
Yes.
Jack,
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that moves us down to miscellaneous reports. Holly area youth. That's Patty.
Yeah, they're looking for a new secretary. The secretary is going to leave. She had tried to work it out to work for them. And had made another commitment, thought it would work, but it isn't. So I suppose they're gonna post that and have someone on board. They're hoping to have someone on board by the end of July. And they also sent us a thank you letter for the generous sponsorship we sent them. And that's pretty much all I have right now.
Okay. Teresa, anything for BG?
BGYA, they're actually, right now, they're not having a meeting in June. They said people can check their website or their Facebook page for updates and things. They are doing steps and stories at Sashbaum Meadows this summer with 24 kids with Miss Fran, who's very excited to be doing that. And Real Estate One, you may have seen the article in the Citizen, they donated $1,700 to BGYA from donations for their shred day. And we also gave them 2,500. And did they write us a thank you note yet? Because if they didn't, I'll get on them.
I don't recall if I saw them or not.
Yeah, they probably will. They always are
Yes,
very
they
Yeah,
do
gracious,
so-
they're
generally.
very, very gracious and thankful for everything, right? So that's about it.
Okay. Planning Commission, Jim?
Yeah, the planning commission met last month and will be meeting in a couple of weeks. And the primary focus in both of those is the Renaissance Festival and dealing with some constraints that we're putting onto the festival for improved parking, a parking plan, traffic management plan, and a few other things related to making sure that the flow works well. Don't have what we've had in a couple of years past, significant traffic issues where it's gridlock. And also the inability of our community members to move down Perryville Road. I can't forecast whether they're going to have everything in time that we've asked, but they're making an effort. That's about all I can say at this point. Not that I'm posturing, but that's kind of the most obnoxious thing I can say. They're trying, and we will see what happens in 2 weeks. The planning commission.
Okay. BZA would be Gina, and she's excused tonight, so we won't have anything on that. On the supervisor's report, some updates on a couple of issues. All the discussions we've had several times over the last few years about the Rapid Transit Authority bill that they wanted to jack in about 4 mills, I think, which really wouldn't do any good for anybody up here. Seems to be on a back burner discussion right now, and they don't seem to think it's going to happen this year, if at all. So as of the last update I had, there's nothing anticipated for this year. There is some discussion about a countywide 1 mil transit authority bill that they're maybe getting introduced for Oakland County. I don't have any more on that. Maybe, Eileen, do you know anything about it?
Yeah, I think that my colleagues on the other side of the aisle would like to make it so they can opt out. But I don't think that they can
Muster
make
enough
that
votes?
provision legally, the way the laws are, they can't do that, so.
Good.
And so I think the smart village will probably be on the November ballot.
Okay,
And then I believe they can't take up the RTA until 2024.
yeah, so that's why they said nothing on it this year. There is some discussion at the supervisor's luncheon about trying to make the road commission for Oakland County report to the county commissioners. I could tell you all of the supervisors thought that was a terrible idea. Okay, so I don't know if it's going anywhere, but just in case you hear it, there's been some discussion on that. The short-term rental issue that's up in Lansing may be moving up. They seem to be pushing, the realtors, I think, are pushing hard for that one. There was another bill being discussed about possibly issuing a bill that would stop the ability to have a single waste hauler in a community, which pretty much all the supervisors thought that was a bad decision too. And so I don't think that one's going anywhere. It's not likely to move. They are reconvening the solid waste committee because they're passed some new legislation to try and get it going again. And, you know, I've been on that for, I don't know, when they invented dirt, I think I got on it. But it's been probably 30 or so years that I've been on it. And so they asked me if I wanted to do it again, and I resubmitted the application. I haven't heard anything back, but they are going to be reconvening the solid waste committee and looking at making some changes in the way the state handles solid waste. Things like encouraging recycling, that, whatever other changes they talked about. The aggregate mining bill that we talked about and I've testified on 2 or 3 times does not seem to be moving fast right now. But I can tell you that we all had an invitation to meet our new state legislator, Lisa, who I think she's very impressive. It was set up in Mike Bouchard's office, and it was Levy Company that I think put it together. And I'm kind of guessing that's because he's trying, my guess would be they want to try and promote this bill probably next year. And the other thing is there's some pension reform that they're looking at right now in Lansing, where they may change the requirements for pension funding to be at or greater than 60%, which for some, not us, but for some communities, that will be a hurdle to get over, I think, because there's some that I believe are still around 80% unfunded. I think Holly's still like that. I don't know. But that's kind of what's cooking at the supervisor's lunch on the main legislative issues right now. That's all I have. Well, I guess I should say. I also have Will working on the contract. I'll hopefully have it, if we're lucky, next month for the sale of the fire station on Dixie and the contract awarding for the new station going on behind the Task Force 1 building. So when I get those signed, sealed, and delivered, ready for the board decision, I'll put them on the agenda. And Will is working on them right now. I sent him some information last week. As soon as we got the monster agreement for the aggregate mining done. Okay. So that's pretty much what I have right now for us. And I am working, have a meeting Wednesday with Senator Danaskis and his son Justin to talk about what we want to do going forward on the township's industrial park. And I have a meeting, I think it's later on Wednesday, with Oakland County Parks and some people from the state of Michigan. And what we might do is a joint marketing pitch for the township's property. So all of that stuff that I've been talking about is all coming to pass now here in the next couple. You know, we did the marijuana law last month, the ordinance. We did Barry's contract this month. I'm going to try and get the sale of the station and the contract for the new one, if possible, for July, and then get the marketing information that we talked about. And I think I forwarded one of them on to you, Jim, in an email that said if you want to join us, you can. Okay, So that's what I have for the supervisor's office this month.
Okay.
Patty?
Well, at the budget meeting, we have approved funds to upgrade some of the office furniture. So you were greeted by the chairs.
That's why they're in the
Put
lobby. They
together.
came.
That's why they're in the lobby. So far, we've done the chairs. We have one stand-up desk that, once we get the chairs together, this stand-up desk just sits on the regular desk, but it falls to a stand-up. And Angela seems to get all the new stuff first. I don't know how she manages that, probably because she ordered it.
Yeah, she loves
So
it.
she's all in her stand-up desk. So we are moving forward with that. As far as the election, everyone in the township, registered voter, will be receiving an updated registration card in the near future. We have those being worked on right now and to be sent out. Absent voter apps for the August 2nd primary were sent out a few weeks ago, several weeks ago, actually. You still have it. You can bring it in if you want an absent voter ballot. And you can also submit them online. If you can't, for whatever reason, get up here, you can just email it to deputy clerk at grovelandtownship.net or clerk at grovelandtownship.net. We did do one interview today for one of our candidates for our part-time position that we have open. We do have quite a few that were interested in it. So we'll be moving forward with the rest on Wednesday, and I think we have one on Thursday. So we should be able to make a decision on that coming up. And the office will be closed on June 20th for Juneteenth. This is a new federal holiday that was passed in January of 2022. So that's been added to the calendar. We've already posted it on the door. And I think, Janelle, did we put that on the website yet? No. We'll
The
get
banks
it
are
up
closed
there.
that
Yeah,
day,
the
too.
banks are closed. Municipalities, but I think the county's closed. Yeah. So we will also be closed. The other thing is, they're still trying to raise funds for the moving wall in Holly that's coming. And that's coming August 3rd through the 8th. And they have a fire department boot drive will be on June 17th. A vet to vet dinner, 6 on June 20th. A soldier story on June 24th, and the car show fundraiser on July 16th. Those proceeds will also be going towards the wall. And there's also a Veterans Resource Fair on June 30th from 9 a.m. to noon at the Oakland County Conference Center. We'll run these on the website or Facebook page again. And I think that's pretty much all I have.
Teresa, do you have anything you want to
Just a couple of things. So I went ahead and changed the entire text, the back of the tax bill for summer of 2022. The printer that was doing our tax bills left the company, and so we were given an opportunity to continue with that company with a different person in charge of the account, or Oakland County offered to take over, and they quoted us a price as well. So the prices were very comparable. I could not seem to get response from the company that we were using in the past. He ghosted me a few times. I was like, well, you snooze, you lose. So I went ahead and went with Oakland County and the Oakland Schools Print Center, and they did a fantastic job. I like to think, I'm a math major. I think in terms of charts and data tables, right? So I took the information and I just sort of put it into more organized chart form and bullet points with headings, and hopefully it'll be, easy to read. I had Angela look it over with me, and we compared to some things that were going on in some other townships. And we both agreed, yes, this is quite organized, and it looks like, I think it's an improvement, but that's my mathematical mind wanting things in organized charts and tables. So the new bills will come out, hopefully, the residents that might notice will say, hey, this is kind of cool, right? But who knows? So they're ready to be printed. I expect to send the entire thing down, all the data down to Oakland County to be printed probably later this week. And tax bills will get mailed out June 30th. Taxes can be paid starting July 1st, but that's probably I think that's a Friday. Anyway, so our first day of being open to take tax payments here will be July 5th because of the way that holiday falls and so on. The other thing we already talked about, poverty exemptions, the form is now available and it will be put on the website. Those are heard at the July Board of Review, and the July Board of Review will be July 19th at 10 a.m. We ask anybody who's going to turn in a poverty exemption to please try to get it in like a week or so ahead of time if possible, so that the assessors can go over it and make sure that all the information is there. The other thing that they do at the July Board of Review is they correct any clerical errors. So that's pretty much it. Dog licenses were supposed to be done by June 1st. At this point, you can still get one, but there's a late fee tacked on by Oakland County.
Okay, at this point, I'll open the meeting to public comment. If anybody has a question or comment.
Mr. Supervisor, I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce myself. I'm State Representative David Martin. I'm out of Davison. The district flips and comes down to the southern part of Genesee County, picks up Groveland Township. So I lose 6 townships in Genesee County and come down this way. I retired from the Air Force. I was on Davison City Council for a while. I was first elected to the Genesee County Commission in 2016. And then when I won re-election during the blue wave, I got a little bit of notice of 2018. And some people from the legislature came and asked me if I'd take my value message to Genesee County and run for the state house. So I'd already taken a seat from, I was the first Republican elected in my district for the county commission. And then I took the seat away from incumbent for the 48th house, also the first Republican elected there since 1994. This district, new district, would include Burton. I'd like to do the same thing for Burton. I'd like to have Groveland Township help to do that. My work history, after I retired from the Air Force, I was the director of security at the Silverdome. I worked at Volkswagen America for security, and I ran a virtual security company operation center down in Troy. So I drove a lot of F-15 and a lot of Dixie Highway. So I just wanted to introduce myself and big piece, if you talk about MTA, worked with Judy Allen hard to get this done. Got one of the few bills signed by the governor this session. But townships can rename themselves. Not saying Groveland Township wants to. But there was an article on live period at Flint Township looking at investigating changing the name. So the right that a village and a city has their charter, a township can now do the same thing, change the name. I didn't know there was like 12 Sherman townships, 9 Grant townships, a couple of Richfield townships,
A couple of roses.
back and forth all the time. So it is an option now that never existed before.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Questions or comments? Okay, if not, pardon? If not, we'll make a motion to adjourn and reconvene for the fire board.
I'll make a motion to adjourn and reconvene for the fire board.
Is there a second?
I'll support.
Okay, any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay. Kevin, we're all reconvened here. The fire board meeting is yours.
And just for continuity, Mike Mueller was my seatmate, so if you have any questions,
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
we had 81 calls in the month of May. And that brings us up to 356 for the year as of May 31st. A few things tonight. I'd like to recommend hiring Jacob Jones. He's a firefighter medic as a field in the department. Currently works in Springfield Fire and would like to pick up the shifts here.
Great.
I interviewed him and talked to Chief Butler and other people that's working with him, new medic, and everyone has good things to say about it.
Great. So you want a motion for that?
Please.
Somebody want?
Well, what's your, let's see, I will make a motion that we hire Jacob Jones as firefighter medic as fill-in. Subject to all of his paperwork and, yeah, subject to his background check, etc.
Okay, is there a second to that?
I'll support.
Okay, by Kevin.
Chris,
Oh,
Jim.
Kevin.
By Jim Christopher.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
Okay, any other questions or comments? If not, Janelle, take a roll call.
this caffeine's wearing off.
I've been up since 4 this morning, really, and then I had a bunch of coffee and a lot of meetings. I apologize. It's just a bad day for me.
Paul,
Yes.
Beth,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes,
Christopher.
Yes.
Next, I'd like to recommend hiring Addison Burgess as a cadet. She's the daughter of Nick Burgess, and she's currently just turned 14. And she's already been attending a lot of our trainings and whatnot, so she knows what to expect. So I'd like to hire her, recommend we hire her as a
We're
cadet.
pretty sure Nick will vouch for me, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great.
well, I'll make a motion that we hire Addison Burgess as a cadet, subject to the background check. And so,
We don't do background.
we don't?
No,
I
not on
thought I
that.
saw that
It's
somewhere.
all,
We
we
discussed it.
discuss it, but it's blocked.
Okay, then I'll change that motion. So I'll make a motion that we hire Addison Burgess as a cadet
With all her paperwork.
with all her paperwork turned in.
Yeah, there you go.
No background check needed.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'll support.
Okay, any questions or comments from the board? Janelle, can you take a roll call?
Beth,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Christopher,
Yes.
Palmer.
Yes, okay. Next item, Kevin, is the Lucas.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we sent
Yeah,
the Lucas-
thank you.
We sent the Lucas in, we had Argo thought they could fix it, and they take care of all our monitors, but when they wanted to get parts, Stryker wouldn't sell them any, so we had to ship it up to Stryker. They acknowledged that they received it, that's the only thing we heard. We're waiting on an estimate, but we've heard from Argo that probably gonna be between $2,000 and $7,000 to fix it.
Still a lot less than 18 for a new one, right?
Yeah, but we do use them a lot. If you remember, we had that CPR.
Yep. Oh, they're worth it.
The other day, that thing ran, the other one ran for over an hour.
Yeah.
And we didn't save the person, unfortunately, but we have had some saves with that anyway, so.
They're great.
Yeah, I just letting you know, we're gonna, I'm expecting an estimate here shortly, so I don't want to wait till next month to get it approved, so I don't know what you want to, if you want to say, it or if you just want to bring it in and say.
You want to say we'll approve up to 7,000? Is that the high side estimate for it?
That's the highest, I guess that's what we go, and then if it comes in higher than that. I'll just have to-
Give me a phone call. Okay, I make a motion that we approve up to $7,000 to repair the Lucas machine that needs repair. Is there a second to that?
I'll second it.
By Jim, okay. Any questions or comments? Okay, Janelle, roll call.
Bill,
Yes.
Christopher,
Yes.
Palmer.
Yes.
Beth,
Yes.
We had the 4 fire class students graduate last Friday, and they're currently enrolled in the EMT school now. So we went to
That the one that you and I talked about, that somebody complained about some of the training on
Yeah.
RACFA?
and we've talked about it. But yeah, I know what's going on.
Okay, is it?
Nothing we need to address, but
It's being fixed or whatever? Okay.
So can you, who were those 4 fire classes?
Chris and Kayla Reiser, Heather Key, and I forget the other guy.
I don't know who that is.
All fellas. So those are the 4 that graduated.
Okay,
Now they're in EMT school, and I have talked to them, they say EMT school is going.
Oh, okay,
okay.
all right, that's all I was concerned about, okay.
And then Saturday, we went up to the gully gravel pits, and we had 4 hours of training with their people. So where cutoffs are, and they're concerned how can we practice bringing people down in the stair chair and whatnot from the machines there. We made a couple recommendations to them, and they were very receptive. And gonna do some water rescue training there because I didn't know this, but the water is like 40 feet down straight and it's actually undercut. So we can't bring an engine to the corner.
Oh,
to the edge of
without
the
having to
water,
cave
because
in.
they could easily that one out there.
Yeah.
We've done that. And so, but if you are concerned, or they're concerned on ours, obviously, is that if some kids were in the water, you can't climb out of there because there's no way to walk out. So, and we also talk about putting the dry hydrant out there also.
Is that because when they're mining that dredge undercuts it that way, but eventually it comes,
Eventually it collapses down, but
Yeah.
they've been mining out there, so it's, they don't know exactly.
and did you say they have 2 dredges there now?
They have one bridge.
Okay, that's the old one from Oxford, I think.
And then we got a tour of all their, both sites and their tour of all that stuff. Stacy's gonna go out there and do up a map, so we know where to kill power, if that's what we want to do. Basically, it's on this pole here, or it's out at the entrance of the, so we're gonna do some, we'll do some more training out there also. Very informative, and one thing we thought of is a stair chair that has some tracks on it, because the stairs are quite steep. And you can't get the backboard around the corners because there's so many turns. So we do have stair chairs, they're probably 30 years old. There's some newer technology, but they're not cheap either. So I told our guys, look at it, I recommended that I be buy one. They were going to look into that.
Excellent recommendation.
I just leave it on the site, but
No, but still, they're the only ones we'd really need it for,
well,
right?
no, we use it too, but we primarily use the negative over the mega seat now, which is a soft version of the stair chair. But we have used the stair chair is easier to go down stairs than those mega, because you don't want to slide out and walk.
Yeah.
So we're looking. And I think that's all.
Thank you. Sounds like the month went pretty well overall. Got a couple of new firefighters. They seem like they're rolling along pretty good. Very good.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Support.
Any questions or comments from the board? Any public comment? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, stick around if you
All
want.
right.